Hey guys, how's it going? It's Calvin Raab. Now, one thing that you guys probably know is that a lot of people don't like personal finance. And the reason for that is because a lot of people see it as being too complicated. You know, it's a lot of numbers, it's a lot of charts, money's coming here, it's a lot of different accounts moving around and changing balances, and it's just a little overwhelming. And I understand that. And the cool thing is, in today's world, there are many different ways that you can drastically simplify your finances to make them so much easier to understand, and eventually you can get to the point where you start to enjoy personal finance a little bit more. So by the end of this video, you're going to know a bunch of different ways that you can really simplify your personal finances. So let's kick it off. Let's start with number one, the number one way that you can drastically fix and simplify your personal finances. Let's get into it. And if you're new here, my name is Calvin Raab. I make videos all about personal finance. So if you're interested in anything like that, I would love it if you would subscribe. The first way that you can simplify your personal finances is through personal finance software. Now, what this is they are companies and websites and apps that have certain software that you can plug in your different accounts, and that allows you to get a broad overview of your different accounts. Now, there's a bunch of different softwares out there that do different things that help with different areas of your personal finances. Some are great for saving, some are great for budgeting, some are just overview kind of things. So there's popular ones like Quicken. One that I really like that I've been using a lot lately is Mint. Mint is made by Intuit, and it's great for getting a good overview. I've got all my credit cards in there, I've got all my bank accounts in there, and I do have quite a bit of kind of moving pieces with my personal finance, but Mint allows me to get a broad overview so I can quickly see what everything's doing, how my investments are doing, and different things like that. A good friend of mine really likes the Wealthfront one. He uses Wealthfront as a savings account, but he also uses it as this personal finance software as well to get an overview of his finances. So those are two more popular ones, but you can just see what works for you and what your needs are there. But this is really important for just getting a broad overview because everything's everywhere, it feels like, with personal finance. But what this software does is it puts it all in one place, and you can just get a broad overview of kind of what's going on here. Number two, and this one is automate as much as possible. So automate just essentially you are telling the computer or the system to do this with your money maybe every single month. So for instance, you want this amount of money going to investing every single month. You want this amount of money taken off your paycheck and put it into savings, into investing, and that way you don't have to think about it. As soon as your paycheck comes in, the program will just run and it does it for you. Don't even have to think about it. Very, very simple. I do that. I also do my credit cards get paid off in full every single month. I don't even have to think about it. You can just go to your credit card and it says automatic payments in full every single month. I have that for all my credit cards. That way, whenever they come due, the system then just takes money out of my bank account, pays them off in full every single month, so I don't have to ever worry about having a late payment or anything like that because it's automated. And oftentimes, if you try to go and pay off every credit card, even if you have the money there, you can sometimes forget one once in a while, and that just leads down a road you don't really want to go down. So this way, if you just automate it, don't have to worry about it. So try to automate as much as possible, and it takes the pressure off of you. Number three is go paperless. And this is what's worked for me. Maybe paper works for you, but for me, going paperless worked. So when I signed up for a bank account, or when you do sign up, you oftentimes get the choice whether or not you want to get paper statements or you want to get an electronic copy, whether it's through the bank or through your email or something like that. And whenever it was an electronic copy, it helped me because it's much easier to organize my email. I can put it into folders and easily download the PDF and put it into a banking folder or some other secure location that I can easily organize them. Whereas sometimes if you get a lot of paper stuff, it just seems like papers are everywhere. You got to get them in like a filing cabinet, and if you're not too organized, things can just kind of get all over the place, and sometimes they're hard to find. Whereas for me, I found that when I went paperless, easy to sort. I can easily search stuff whatever I want. So that's kind of how I go about my finances, is I try to go paperless, and it helped me really simplify things down. Number 4 is consolidate your investments. So what I mean by this is oftentimes investing can seem complex because you're investing in a whole bunch of different companies. And if you log into your portfolio and you have 200 different stocks that you own that are all different companies, it can seem overwhelming because you're trying to look at, how is this company doing compared to this company? How is their earnings compared to them? And it's a lot. And oftentimes people do that because they want to diversify a bunch, but you can consolidate and still keep that diversification. So the way you can do that is through ETFs and different index funds, which are ETFs just stand for exchange traded funds, and it's just a basket of stocks that has a whole bunch of stuff into it, but it's a lot easier to track an ETF than individual stocks that are trying to that same amount. So you can transfer money where you would normally buy an individual stock and buy a basket of stocks, which could be seen as an ETF. So rather than buying a whole bunch of different healthcare companies, you can then buy a healthcare ETF that has them all inside. It's much easier to track that and seems less overwhelming than having individual healthcare companies. Number 5 is cut down on your monthly subscriptions. So the way you can do this is just go through your monthly subscriptions, go through your bank account and see each month which subscriptions you may have that you may not need anymore. So I made a video about how I found a whole bunch of different monthly subscriptions, and all in all, when I added them up and looked at it in future value of I think it was 50 years or so, it ended up being $500,000 had I not put it into those pointless subscriptions and invested it. So I recommend kind of checking out that video. I kind of go through the numbers a little bit about how it's sort of startling how if you just save your monthly subscriptions and invest it elsewhere, how much more money you can make. So don't cancel all your subscriptions, some you may need, but look through to see if you've got a few bucks going to different places each month that you don't really use anymore. Plus, when you do that, it can simplify your finances because it can, if you're trying to really understand your finances and you've got 20, 30, 40 different subscriptions going everywhere, it can just seem a little overwhelming again. Whereas if you just simplify it down to maybe under 10 different subscriptions that you have, it's much easier to understand, and you can really kind of plan for the next month payments a little bit easier. Number 6 is hire an expert. So if you get to things and it's just way too overwhelming, you don't understand what's going on, you don't know what this means, what this money is going, or how to really organize it, sometimes you may want to hire an expert. There are people and financial advisors whose entire job is to simplify your finances and make it easier for you. And oftentimes this can help you out a lot. If you just have a big mess, you can just take that mess and give it to them, and they will kind of walk you through it and they will help you organize it a little bit. They can plan out the future a little bit and just help you digest a little bit about what's going on. So if you look at it and it's just too overwhelming, you can't do it, consider hiring an expert. They come different prices depending on your area, but their entire job is to make your finances understandable. And I know that because I hope to be a financial advisor. I'm kind of studying to be one when I'm older. So look online, see which ones are good, and they can really help you now and then also plan for the future to keep things simple and keep you understanding things. So let them control it, let them deal with your mess if you don't really want to deal with it. Number 7 is consistency. So when it comes to simplifying your finances, you always really have to stay on to it. You always want to be trying to consolidate your finances. You can kind of think of this like cleaning a house. Suppose you clean your house once and you just spend all day cleaning and you just do as much as you can. The house looks great. But if you don't keep it up, if you don't, every time you take off your jacket or take off some clothes, if you don't put it in the hamper and instead you just put it on the floor, it then will get messy again. You can come back a month or two later and be like, what on earth happened? It was so nice. Now it's just a mess. But if you just do small little simple things like put it in the hamper, fold your clothing and everything like that, you can keep it always looking nice. And the same thing goes with your finances. Yes, it can be a little bit of work in the beginning to simplify everything, but then it just takes little steps here and there to continue to keep things simple. And then you won't ever run into the situation again where things just seem out of control. All right, but that will wrap it up. Those are 7 different ways that you can really simplify your finances and just not have things be so complex, because that's something that a lot of people don't like about personal finance. And in today's world, there's so many different ways. I love the personal finance software systems that are out there. They really, really help. And maybe I'm just a weird finance nerd that I just think they're the coolest things on the planet, but they do really help, and it's just a really good thing to do to get an overview. But that will wrap it up. Now, this was just 7 ways to really consolidate and simplify your finances. I know there's more. These have worked for me, but now I want to turn it to you. How do you simplify your finances? What's been working for you? What hasn't been working? I would love it if you would let me know in the comments below. I'll be going through there. I'll be talking to you guys, and I look forward to just seeing what your opinion is and what you guys do to simplify your finances. But that will wrap it up. I hope those 7 were helpful, and I look forward to talking to you on there. But that will wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, my name is Calvin Raab, and here I make videos all about personal finance, so I would love it if you would subscribe. And when you do, you will find new videos here every single Monday and Friday. And I make all these videos just because I believe that personal finance can be fun, and through these videos, I try to show that. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed lately. I truly appreciate it, but that will wrap it up. And as always, my name is Calvin Raab, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys. Oh, wait, I don't really know what I was trying to do there. All right, bye, guys.